Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Shamela Pullen. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Manchester farmer counts losses after cattle theft. Disgruntled parents staged protest in St. Thomas over poor conditions of school. And later in sports, reggae boys clash with Trinidad and Tobago tonight in a World Cup qualifier. Now the details. There was pandemonium on Caledonia Road in Manchester this morning after the police and gunmen engaged in a daring daylight shootout. According to reports, the incident may have stemmed from an earlier fatal shooting in the area. TVJ News understands that the police were responding to a shooting in the area.
Now 11:41, and here in Mandeville at the junction of the Three Chains, the Hanbury and Caledonia Road, a large crowd has gathered as curious onlookers try to make sense of what is happening in the town since morning. Police are assembled at the entrance of an apartment building where it is reported that a man who is believed to have been involved in a shooting earlier has locked himself and on the approach of the police fired at them. Earlier today, the driver of a car was shot along Caledonia Road. He lost control of the vehicle and crashed into the back of another. He sustained multiple injuries and was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The man who has locked himself in the apartment building is believed to be one of other persons who was involved in that shooting. The police are perhaps trying to get him to come out of the house. We understand that he has a firearm and shots that were fired sounded like those from a high-powered weapon. We are on the scene. I am on the scene and I'll be trying to gather some more information and will pass it on as soon as possible. Courtney Morgan here for TVJ News.
And that was our TVJ's correspondent, Courtney Morgan from Manchester. School resumed Tuesday after disgruntled parents staged a protest at the Middleton Primary School in St. Thomas Monday over what the state of the school. A meeting is scheduled for Thursday to address the issues. Karen Simpson reports.
Padlocks and chains greeted students at the Middleton Primary School in St. Thomas on the first day of the new school year Monday. The police and firefighters were called to intervene after students were barred from entering the compound. The reason? Unsanitary conditions, among other issues.
The staff bathroom is running and we have a lot of small children here. The pit needs to be covered. It is open and as you can see, small children are coming here. That's my concern.
Sometimes the one bathroom I use, so the boys and girls have to be using the one bathroom.
But that's not their only concern.
We need teachers. Every year, we don't have a grade 1 teacher or a grade 2 teacher. Sometimes the teachers them have to be teaching 2 classrooms.
And security is also a concern at the institution. President of the Parent Teacher Association, Donna Campbell, says money was obtained through fundraising to erect a perimeter fence, but nothing was done.
The ballground again, if the place is open, I am the one who go out, collect money and bring everything, give her money for fence up. There is no fencing going. So she got to tell me where's the money, where's all those money gone.
The parents are calling for the issues to be urgently addressed.
You cannot work my school. We have long holiday. You can't work my school like this without no pit already. The principal is supposed to look on them things there. You see me? It no benefit, no good for the pit, them brother. We don't want to lock down the school because the school just a build up back. They mash it up already and we are trying to build it back. So it don't make no sense, brother. They mash down the school again and we want justice. We want a real thing to deal with the school. And one of the best primary school was. So I don't want it to reach back to square one. We ask them please to come look. Who if come look, come look.
A meeting is scheduled between school administrators and the relevant stakeholders Thursday to address the issues. Karen Simpson, TVJ News.
A farmer is counting his losses after thieves stole several cattle from his property in Manchester over the weekend. The incident has triggered a warning to residents buying beef. More from Anthony Logg.
Jeff Larmond looks on in disbelief as he assessed what's left of his cattle on the farm located on Perth Road, Manchester.
We need to do something seriously about this pre losses.
because it is getting from bad to worse.
When he inspected the farm Friday evening, he said all cattle were accounted for. Saturday morning's routine check came as a shocker.
But there we saw where they slaughtered 4 cows, 3 mother cow, heavy in calf. All cows were just injected for deworming and ticks. And there was a bull cow, and they removed the belly and the head and all of that and put it on the side of the road.
But the thieves did not stop there. They also attacked 6 other cows, leaving them injured, forcing Mr. Larmond to fork out big bucks to treat them. The incident has again brought to light the perennial issue of predial larceny. Just last year, the government passed new legislation with stiffer penalties. Mr. Larmond is therefore looking forward to details of an investigation being conducted by the Manchester Police. Meanwhile, businesses and residents are urged to exercise caution when purchasing beef in the parish.
What I get to understand now is that the meat have been selling to the local near supermarket. So they remove the tag from the cow ears to travel with the meat. And I have the passport for the cow because they are all registered.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
In the meantime, head of the Agricultural Protection Branch, acting ACP Oral Pasco, says the police are aware animals are being butchered at theft sites and have increased enforcement, including vehicle spot checks. He states that cattle thieves face multiple charges and anyone transporting carcasses must prove ownership with animal tags, passports and official receipts.
If you slaughter the animal without a butcher's license, it is against the Public Health Act, butcher's regulation. So that's an offense. And of course, if the meat is for public consumption, the same regulations, there's an inspection regulations and under the same act, Public Health Act, for the meat to be stamped and certified fit for human consumption. We are on the road and we are policing the road. So if we see the carcass and persons will stop a vehicle and reasonable suspicion will stop a vehicle, and it contains the carcass, if it's not stamped, we know instantly that's an offense under the meat inspection regulation.
The police are also closely monitoring Area 3, which includes Manchester, Clarendon and St. Elizabeth. He notes that these parishes report the highest number of predial larceny cases.
More than half of the theft reports that we have seen have come from that area. So we have 2 teams out there and we're targeting the thieves on that side of the island. Of course, we have spread island-wide. So it's a concern for us because we know that just like a balloon, if you squeeze a balloon one side, they will change their methods and we just have to adjust and ensure that we check and stop, search, check and ensure that we are more vigilant. But we are onto it and we know that this time of the year, this last quarter, Utah season starts about here, is when we see an upsurge in the stealing of agriculture produce.
News in politics. Jamaicans for Justice is calling for greater involvement of opposition parliamentarians as the new term is set to begin. Executive Director Michael Jackson was speaking on Power 106's Morning Agenda Tuesday. Details in this report.
With the JLP securing 35 seats to the PNP's 28, pundits expect a robust parliamentary term. And given the crucial role of parliamentary committees, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice Michael Jackson believes giving the opposition leadership roles could lead to greater cooperation on important national matters.
Which most of the laws that are passed through Parliament are ordinary legislation, which you just need a simple majority. But when you have a balanced parliamentary representation, what it allows is for robust discussions to be had, from different and diverse groups, which is important. So one of the things we're calling for is for the government to revisit what Bruce Golding had done some years ago, where you see opposition members chairing some of the sessional committees.
JFJ is also urging the government to move forward with meaningful constitutional reform during this term.
So, for example, we're just coming out of an election. Are we discussing election reform? Wherein when you go on the ballot box, you're not there thinking about whether you want to vote for your MP, if you want a particular political party to win, or you want this particular party leader to become prime minister. You would have two distinct choices. These are some of the things we want people to think about in a constitutional reform process. How to have the electorate becoming more empowered in terms of who they see in the parliament.
With reports of a new energy-focused cabinet being considered, the JFJ says now is a good time for the government to show its commitment to working together. The organization adds that a healthy democracy depends on the full involvement of all elected officials in making decisions that affect the country.
Because they want to also hold the government to account. And having said that, we are looking forward to some of the anti-corruption measures, which will see the Joint Select Committee that is reviewing the Integrity Commission Act that resume as soon as possible. The Protected Disclosure Act, commonly called the Whistleblower Law, important for us to talk about people giving information but feel safe to do so and they're protected to do so. And if we segue to the constitutional reform process, which we hope will resume as soon as possible, but with some changes. So, for example, we have noted that you need improved bipartisan efforts.
Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
The leadership of at least 2 trade unions is urging the incoming Andrew Holness-led administration to move quickly to deliver on its campaign promises. The union representatives are of the view that the public will not grant the government a long grace period to settle in. O'Shane Masters reports.
The incoming Jamaica Labour Party JLP administration is being urged to swiftly begin implementing its campaign promises, with union leaders warning that the public's patience will be short-lived. Among the commitments are a phased increase in the national minimum wage and gradual reductions in the income tax threshold. President of the Jamaica Association of Local Government Officers, JALGO, Helene Davis-White, cautioned that workers expect a clear timetable for delivery. She said the administration's honeymoon period will be brief as citizens look for early signs of action.
I don't think that you're going to get persons who are, going to wait an inordinately long time for some of these promises to be fulfilled, particularly the reduction in income tax. Their first budget is going to be very important because that will be an indication of the extent to which they are prepared to actually make good on their promises. I think it will be a very dark day if in fact the government does not specifically move to implement or to give at least an indication of a timeline, what you can do in a year, what you will do in the second, third, fourth, fifth year. All of that, I think, needs to be made clear, because if that is not made clear, there are persons who will be sorely disappointed and become disaffected.
Meanwhile, President of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, UCASE, Vincent Morrison, has called for urgent reform of employment practices. He criticized the widespread use of fixed-term contracts, arguing that they are often exploitative.
It is really cancerous as it relates to the industrial relations within those industry and within those companies that, operate it. For example, in the bauxite and aluminum sector, in fact, we have another 40 to 50 odd years. Yet we have, since 2010, this arrangement. And we would have hoped that the Parliament would have done much more work to look on the thing and to effect a balance. This has not happened.
He also pressed the government to strengthen social protection for industrial security guards, warning that too many remain without proper benefits or safeguards. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Thank you, O'Shane. It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's now time for the Business Minute.
The Development Bank of Jamaica DBJ will be providing financing to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises at an annual interest rate of 8%. The facility, valued at $2 billion, is part of the bank's Opportunities for Resilient Business, Innovation and Transformation Orbit program. Each business will be able to access up to $30 million. Further afield, U.S. tariffs hit car companies hard in July. Auto industry consulting firm Anderson Economic Group said car makers paid more than $1.4 billion to import cars and car parts from Canada and Mexico. This comes after a 25% tariff on cars and car parts went into effect in April and May. General Motors, Stellantis, Ford, Tesla, and Hyundai assemble many of their vehicles in the U.S., but they import a number of parts from Canada and Mexico. The automakers paid nearly $300 million in tariffs on car parts in July. For the Business Minute, I'm Shane Masters.
And time now for the top stories from around the world.
In the region, the United States Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, has extended the flight ban from the North American country to the Haitian capital into the next year over security risks. The FAA had imposed the ban on U.S. commercial flights to Port-au-Prince, the capital of the French-speaking Caribbean Community CARICOM country, that was due to have expired on Monday, but now extended to March 7, 2026. In a statement, the FAA said Haitian foreign terrorist organizations maintain access to small arms and unmanned aircraft systems capable of reaching low-altitude phases of flight, noting that Haitian gangs now control 90% of the capital as well as nearby strategic routes and border areas. On the international scene, Nepal's prime minister has resigned after more than a dozen people were killed and hundreds injured during youth-led protests sparked by a government ban on social media platforms, widespread corruption, and poor economic opportunities. Security forces deployed live ammunition, water cannons, and tear gas during protests in several cities, in which authorities said at least 19 people were killed. Nepal is known for its turbulent politics and has seen more than a dozen governments since it transitioned to a republic after abolishing its 239-year monarchy in 2008 following a decade-long civil war. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
Thank you, Carrie, and we take another break. Sports is next.